as I'm letting the rest of our family in here, something last week that I thought was very interesting, and he kind of dropped it right at the end, right as we were closing out, and I was like, oh, wait, and I'm like, no, we got to close it down. And some of you may have caught it, some of you may have not. It's all right, because just like I share the picture of the paper towel tube, the cardboard tube, and you start shoving in golf balls. If you get too many golf balls in it, and they start falling out the other side because you can only hold so much in there. I didn't want to go in and pick up from that moment. I figured we would just hold it over, and it's kind of good review, because last week we were discussing about the heart. We were talking about the heart, the inverted heart, the anointing, the confusion, the chaos, all connected to the letter Bet. And so what he left off last week, I actually wrote it up on the board right here, Lavot, and he said it was the lion's roar. Did you guys hear that? Do you remember him saying that right at the end? I was like, whoa, wait a minute here, what's going on? Let's kind of back the truck up here and discuss this here for a moment as a good connector to what we're going to be going into, because today we are going to discuss what we're filling our container with, the Bet, and the difference between scriptures and the word, because there is a difference. So what I wanted to highlight to you guys, and I know that Ken did some work on the verse, because it only shows up once, right? It's a one-time occurrence in the Old Testament that you see this word.
But yeah, okay.
I'm just drawing the line in between here. So for you guys, you can see Leb, we have the Lamed Bet right here, which is what we discussed for heart, or the inner man.
But you're working on the Bet, right? So you're working on but this is the pointing of the Bet.
The reason why I brought it up, though, and why I wanted to talk about it, is because we went into great detail in
Aleph.
Well, not only Aleph, but during my introduction series, I went through the Aleph Vav Tav. I went through the journey. Do you guys remember that? The teaching I did on the journey of the Aleph Vav Tav, the Ot, those that were the signs, signal, beacons, miracles, those who chose to enter in, and what that looked like at the end, they just became a self. It's like lost their way, they became a self, which is separation, right? So we've got this authority within a heart, but it still went into the separation. So because it went into separation, it had to go on the journey. So very interesting that this word right here is connected to lion and lioness and the word roar. So where does this come out of, Ken?
This comes out of Joshua 15:32. It's only one occurrence of this word, and I've used this before in some of my teaching. That's why I just thought, because you had it already up there in a vibration, and I thought, well,
it's a great connector, though.
Well, it is a great connector, because it's like you're sharing the Bet right now. And this is everything. This is the Aleph Tav. The Ot is it's like, so we get the word Yahweh Sabaoth. It's right in this vibration. Is that God some assembly required? Zavaot is the assembly of God. It means you are amassed as an army, but it doesn't need to be outside of yourself. It's you just amassed. You gathered yourself. And I just love it that I just wanted to connect it that I don't know why the Spirit just said write it on the board, so I was being obedient. But the lab of your heart is the pointing of having to build your heart. That's lab. That's building the Bet. Building the Bet, your temple, and it's all to do with the resonance of your heart. And so the lament is the pointing to build the absolute of the expanded covenant. That is your roar. By your own decree of sound of what you've compressed in yourself by building, you roar. That is the frequency of your ingathering. It's either a whelp or it's a roar. Because one is immature and one is mature. And I don't mean that as derogatory. It's just simply as a response based on the integration into yourself. How do you speak? How do you see? What do you say? And
another way you could connect that is having the authority of the voice.
So
in other words, the authority of the voice is our roar.
Right. So all I wanted to connect, because this is a teaching in itself that I'll probably have to go into, because I needed to show you this, and then I'll just to give me a segue, because that's where it ends up at 3 bets in a row.
Mm-hmm.
You don't ever see that.
Mm-mm.
And
no, you do not.
That's the apple of the eye.
Of course it is.
So we'll get to that another time. But in its vibration, it's interesting. because it's already connected to the Constitution.
I know.
And so in this first occurrence, or one occurrence, I can just say it this, I'll say it in the mechanical way, but I'll break it down innocently. I try to make it as a sentence. It's really saying we're all in our youth until we mature. We're all in the sojourn of learning how to really, it's the whimper before we know how to roar. It's that kind of a language. It's like our introduction. It's like the whelp or the whimper of the lion learns how to use its voice to then become the roar of the mature mane. It's the language of sovereignty. And so the sojourn of the youth becomes the lion. It's the praise that you eat. It's actually where we get the word Judah from. So your praise is actually the food that you partake of, we partake of. This is the building of progeny. This ascends and this goes up and then comes down as stretching out as a lion is one who stands as a rose. That's how it ends. Now, anyone that knows what I'm sharing, how it ends, the etymology of constitution means kum, to stand. And this is what the last word is. These are those who stand fully constituted as a rose. And so it's just beautiful. It's an expression that this is the cry of the lion that, again, it's connected to Judah. We're all connected in the Christian church. The lion is such a heavy symbol in the Christian church, but it has to be, it's all based on the expression of what you deem it to be. It's the food that you eat. What does a lion eat, right? It's that kind of it's the language of your praise by the due diligence of the hand, the deed that fulfills the intention, so the roar may be come out into the earth. It's that kind of a language. It's you. You are the Lion of Judah. If you choose. So it's that. And it's just the constitution of your own comprehensions of what it is. And Carrie's breaking down how to build the Constitution. She's undergirding what I'm trying to lay down from the top. The bet, the leb, the bet, the olive, it's all part of the Constitution. They're all constituents of a sum total called the summit of God. The gathering. Yourself first, and then the many.